Hey yogis, welcome to another Yellow Yoga class. My name is Kelly and I'll be your guide. Today's practice is part of our Strengthen and Lengthen series, where we'll work on both strength and flexibility for a full body workout and a deep stretch. Today's class in particular is designed to help us feel refreshed. We'll start on the ground with some moderate stretches to start slow and get the blood flowing. Then we'll make our way up to our feet for some favorite strengtheners and lengtheners, including extended side angle, warrior two, high lunge, triangle pose, and pyramid pose. And we'll finish with a bit of juicy and revitalizing breathwork. It's gonna be a good one. You're gonna feel refreshed afterward. Roll out your mat and let's get started. We'll start today's practice in a nice wide-legged child's pose. So go ahead and make your way down to the mat. Spread your knees wide and sink your hips back to your heels, stretching your arms out to the front of the mat. And with loving deep breaths, begin to settle into your practice today. As you settle in, connecting with the breath, maybe take a minute to set an intention for your practice. Today's theme is refresh, so maybe your attention can be somehow related to helping you feel refreshed after the practice. Maybe it's to stay in the present moment throughout the whole practice, leaving your thoughts on the shelf. Maybe your intention is to take full, deep, cleansing breaths throughout your practice. Just think about what could best serve you today. And we'll take 3 more deep breaths here in child's pose. Lift your hips off your heels. Bring your knees in slightly to be hip distance apart. And sink your chest toward the mat for puppy pose. Stretching the mid-back and shoulders a bit, opening up the chest. You can rest your forehead on the mat here. Maybe rock your head a little side to side, gently massaging your third eye. And we'll take 5 more deep breaths here in puppy pose. Let's sink our hips to the mat now and slide our chest to the front of the mat for Sphinx pose, propping our weight up on our forearms. And we'll try to make this an active Sphinx pose here, really pushing through the forearms and the pelvic bone to find length. Keep breathing deeply on your own. You should really feel this in your back body, and maybe a bit in your shoulders as well. And take a second to check in with your shoulders and make sure they're dropped down and away from your ears with your neck long. And we'll take just 3 more breaths here. And from here, we'll move into half bow. So turn your right forearm to be parallel to the front of the mat, keeping length through your chest and neck. And bend your left leg at your knee to lift your foot to the sky. Now reach back with your left hand to grab your left ankle, keeping your foot flexed. Now try to straighten your left leg to stretch out your shoulder and add a little lift to your half bow. And we'll take 3 deep breaths. Release your ankle and we'll take it to the other side. Turn your left forearm to be parallel to the front of the mat, keeping that length through your chest and neck. And bend your right leg this time to lift your foot to the sky, reaching around with your right hand to grab your ankle. Now try to straighten your right leg, adding some lift to your half bow. And we'll take 3 deep breaths on this side. Release your ankle, come up to your hands and knees. And sink your hips back once again for child's pose. You can keep the knees wide or explore child's pose with your knees together here, whatever feels best for you. And we'll just take a couple breaths here to stretch out the lower back. When you're ready, make your way up to your hands and knees for tabletop position. And we'll take some cat and cow poses here in tabletop. On an inhale, drop the belly, shine the chest to the sky, gaze up. And exhale, round the spine, dropping your chin to your chest. Inhale for cow, dropping the belly. And exhale for cat, rounding the spine. Just do a few more here on your own. And feel free to veer off the beaten path, maybe knock your hips side to side, maybe really exaggerating your movement, just adding whatever movement feels good for you here. And when you're ready, we'll come back to a neutral spine. And send the hips to the sky for our first downward dog of the practice. So find some juicy movement here in downward dog. Maybe pedaling it out. Again, maybe exaggerating your movements, just moving in whatever way feels best for you right now in this moment. When you're ready, step the left foot between the palms. And we'll hang out here in low lunge for a couple of breaths as well. Again, working in some movement. Really feeling the stretch in the hip flexor. Try to find as much length as you can here, maybe even coming up to the fingertips if it helps you create a straight line from the crown of your head to your back foot. Drop the back knee to the mat. And on an inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky for low crescent lunge. All together, inhale nice and big, nice and deep. And exhale, find cactus arms, shine your chest to the sky, gaze up. Inhale to straighten the arms, fingertips to the sky. And exhale for cactus arms, shining your chest. And continue on your own for a couple breaths. Again, play around here with your breath and your movement. And work in whatever movements feel good for you right now. And we'll meet on an inhale with our fingertips overhead. And exhale to twist to our left side, sending the arms toward the front and back of the mat, and hooking the right wrist on our left knee for a little extra help in this twist. You can even grab your left knee with your right hand. Now we'll bend the back knee to grab the right foot with your left hand. Again, stretching the quad and shoulder and adding a little bit of a challenge to this twist, making sure we can keep our balance. If you fall out, just come back and we'll hold it here for 5 breaths. Release the foot, and on an inhale, we'll untwist and lift both fingertips to the sky for low crescent lunge. Exhale, bring the hands to the mat to frame the left foot, lifting the back knee off the mat. And inhale, send the left hand to the sky for revolved low lunge. And we'll hold it here for just a couple of breaths, just finding some comfort and balance. Bring the left hand to the inside of the left foot now, and send the right fingertips to the sky. Now from here, we're going to pivot the right foot and plant the heel so our feet are set up for extended side angle pose, the same foot position that we would have for a warrior 2 pose. Bring your weight out of your fingertips and into your legs here. If this is too deep of a stretch, just come up a little bit to bring the left elbow to rest gently on the left thigh. You also have the option here to send your fingertips toward the front of the mat over your head. And we'll take just 2 more breaths here. On your next inhale, straighten your left leg, sending both fingertips straight over the head to kiss in prayer. And right away, we'll exhale to find warrior 2 pose. Inhale to straighten the front leg, sending the fingertips up overhead. And exhale once again for warrior 2. Continue moving here with your breath, seeing if you can sink a little deeper into your warrior 2 on each exhale. We'll meet all together in warrior 2. straighten the front leg and keep the arms stretched out to your sides. Take a big inhale and reach your left arm toward the front of the mat as far as you can, like you're reaching for something in the distance. Now keep that length as you exhale to drop your left fingertips toward the mat for triangle pose. And we'll hold it here for 5 breaths. In this triangle pose, try to focus on making your body as flat as possible. Like you could be in triangle pose with just 6 inches of space between 2 walls. Aim for that flatness. On your next inhale, engage the core muscles to bring your torso back up with arms stretched out toward the front and back of the mat, and exhale to bend the front leg, finding Warrior 2 pose. Inhale for high lunge, lifting the back heel, bringing the hips square with the front of the mat, reaching the fingertips up overhead. And from here, we'll make our way to pyramid pose. So begin to straighten both legs, step the back foot about 6 inches forward, and plant the back heel, turning the right toes toward the right corner of your mat. Keep your hips square to the front of the mat as you hinge forward at your hips, keeping your torso nice and long, keeping distance between your ears and your shoulders. You can bring your hands to rest on your left shin, or you can bring your fingertips or palms down to the mat, depending on your flexibility. And feel free to bend your left knee slightly if you need to. And we'll hold it here for 5 deep breaths. When you're ready, step the right foot to the front of the mat to meet the left foot for forward fold. And find a bit of movement here. Maybe pedaling the legs just a little. Maybe swaying a little side to side with the hands at the elbows. All together, we'll inhale, halfway lift, find flat back. Exhale, release for forward fold. Inhale, root to rise all the way up to standing, hands overhead, gaze up. And exhale, swan dive the hands all the way back down to the mat for forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift again, flat back. And exhale, release, forward fold. Plant the palms to the mat. Step both feet back and send the hips high to the sky for downward facing dog. And we'll find a little bit of movement here. Notice how this side feels very different from the other side at this point. And get a little excited to work on the other side now so it feels just as good as the side we just did. All right, and let's head on to the other side. Step the right foot between the palms. And we'll hang out here in low lunge for a couple of breaths. Working in some soft movement, really feeling the hip flexor stretch. Trying to find as much length as possible. Really find length in the neck here, in the upper body. drop the back knee to the mat. And on an inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky for low crescent lunge. All together, we'll inhale nice and big here, nice and deep. And exhale, find cactus arms, shine your chest to the sky, gaze up. Inhale, straighten the arms, fingertips to the sky. And exhale once again for cactus arms. Continue this on your own for a couple of breaths. Again, explore your own movements here. Maybe really arching the back when you're in cactus arms, and maybe rounding the spine just a little as your fingertips come to the sky. Whatever feels good for you. And we'll meet on an inhale with our fingertips overhead. And exhale to twist to our right side, sending the arms toward the front and back of the mat. And hooking the left wrist on the right knee. Maybe grabbing the right knee if that's more comfortable. When you're ready, bend the left knee to grab your left foot with your right hand. And we'll hold it here for 5 breaths. Really feeling a stretch in our quad and our shoulder. Release the foot, and on an inhale, we'll untwist and lift both fingertips to the sky for low crescent lunge. Exhale to bring the hands to the mat, framing the right foot, and lift the back knee off the mat. And we'll inhale to send the right hand to the sky for revolved low lunge, and we'll hold it here for just a couple of breaths. Just until we can find some comfort and some balance. Bring the right hand to the inside of the right foot now, and send the left fingertips to the sky. When you're ready, we'll start to pivot the left foot, planting the heel, so our feet are set up for our extended side angle. Again, your feet are the same as they would be for Warrior Two pose. When you're ready, start to bring the weight out of your fingertips and into your legs. And if this is too deep of a stretch, you can just come right up, bringing your right elbow to rest gently on your right thigh. Not dropping your weight into your right thigh, just gently resting. It should give you a bit more support. And you have the option here to send the fingertips toward the front of the mat over your head as well. And we'll take just 2 more deep breaths here. On your next inhale, straighten your right leg, sending both fingertips straight over your head to kiss in prayer. And right away, we'll exhale and find Warrior Two pose. Inhale to straighten the front leg once again, sending the fingertips up overhead. And exhale for Warrior Two. Continue moving here with your breath, seeing if you can sink a little deeper into your Warrior Two on each exhale. And we'll meet all together in Warrior Two. Give you just a second to make it there. And straighten the front leg, but keep the arms stretched out to your sides. Take a big inhale here and reach your right arm toward the front of the mat as far as you can, like you're reaching for something in the distance. Keep that length as you exhale to drop your right fingertips to the mat for triangle pose. And we'll hold it here for 5 breaths. On your next inhale, engage your core to bring your torso back up with arms stretched out toward the front and back of the mat. And we'll exhale to find warrior 2. Inhale for high lunge, lifting the back heel, bringing the hips square with the front of the mat, reaching the fingertips up overhead. And we'll make our way to pyramid pose. Begin to straighten both legs. Step the back foot about 6 inches forward. Plant the back heel. Keep your hips square to the front of the mat as you hinge forward at your hips, keeping your torso nice and long and straight. You can bring your hands to rest on your right shin or your fingertips all the way down to the mat. Try to find some comfort here. You can bend your right knee to get yourself down to the mat if you need some balance. And we'll hold here in pyramid pose for 5 deep breaths. When you're ready, step the left foot to the front of the mat to meet the right foot for forward fold. And breathe. All together, we'll inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise all the way up to standing, hands overhead, gaze up. Exhale, bring the hands to your sides for mountain pose. Inhale, reach the hands up overhead, slight back bend, big breath. And exhale, swan dive the hands all the way back down to the mat for forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift again, flat back. And exhale, release, forward fold. And we'll do this 2 more times. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise up to standing, hands overhead, gaze up. Exhale, bring the hands to your sides for mountain pose. Inhale, reach the hands back up overhead. Exhale, swan dive the hands down to the mat for forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, release, forward fold. And once more, see if you can do this sequence on your own this time. And if you get lost, just make it up. And we'll meet in forward fold. And if you're not here with us, you can make your way here. From here, let's roll all the way up to standing, one vertebra at a time. Once you're in mountain pose, find some stillness. Check in with how you're feeling physically, mentally, emotionally. Inhale, big breath here. Lift the fingertips up to the sky. Sip in some extra air once you get to the top. And exhale, quick release. Drop the hands down to your side. Inhale, once again, big breath, fingertips to the sky, sipping in air at the top. And exhale, quick release, sigh it out. Hands fall down to your side. One more big breath, hands to the sky, sipping in extra air, sipping as much as you possibly can. And exhale, sigh it out, dropping your hands to your sides from mountain pose. And find stillness once again. When you're ready, bring your hands to prayer at your heart. And bring the feet mat width apart, toes pointing slightly out. And slowly sink the hips all the way down to the mat for a yogi squat. And we'll hang out here for just a couple of breaths, finding some movement, stretching the hips, groin, and calves. Slowly drop the sits bones to the earth and come to a cross-legged seat for easy pose. Now take a moment to check in with your body, maybe do a body scan to evaluate how your body is feeling. What else does your body need right now so that you feel refreshed when you leave your mat today to continue your day? Is it maybe a bit more hip openers or chest openers? Is it a final long child's pose? Is it maybe plow pose and a shoulder stand for some kind of inversion? Just think about what you need for your final 2 minutes of movement. I'll give you 2 minutes to breathe and flow on your own before we finish our practice in Shavasana. Wherever you are, take a couple of seconds to even it out or finish up your final poses. And come all the way down to your back, legs stretched out long, arms at your sides. And take a couple seconds to settle in and get comfortable. Release any tension you're holding in your neck, jaw, shoulders, in your hips, and melt down toward the earth. Release your mind from thinking and just focus on your breath, moving your body up and down. As always, I encourage you to stay in Shavasana for a couple of minutes to reap the full benefits of the practice today. Maybe take a second or two to set a timer for yourself, and then come back to Shavasana. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. I hope you're feeling refreshed and ready for an amazing day. Namaste.